I'm Alex A.K. Kincaid, and thank you for watching the AK Show. I'm taking a little bit of time out from working towards protecting our clients' rights here in Idaho today against this unlawful government taking of your property through this new bump stock ban to walk you through 10 things that you need to know in order to understand what the just happened. First of all, law enforcement has never said that a bump stock was actually used in the Las Vegas shooting. Were bump stocks found in the shooter's room? Maybe, we think so. It's been reported by the media, but there is no evidence, nor has ATF even suggested in proposing this new rule, that bump stocks have been used in criminal activity. Bureaucrats make laws in this country. This is not a law that has been passed by Congress. This law was written by peon government ATF employees who have now made a law that was signed by the Attorney General. And it is going to cause over 500,000 Americans to become criminals overnight or be forced to destroy or turn in their property to the government without just compensation. If you think laws are made just by Congress and the courts in this country, you need to stop, listen, and learn. There are bureaucrats who are writing rules and regulations that restrict you and I from exercising our constitutional rights, and this is a prime example. It's all about the definition of machine gun. Our laws that were passed by Congress currently define what constitutes a machine gun. Now, we can get into a discussion about whether or not that was lawful or unconstitutional activity, but at least the laws we have on the books prior to this passing of this rule were passed by Congress. The definition concerns how many times you have to pull the trigger. So right now, what the law says is that any weapon which shoots is designed to shoot or can be readily restored to shoot automatically more than one shot without manual reloading by a, this is important, single function of the trigger is what constitutes a machine gun. Okay, so what's a single function of the trigger? One, boom, 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 boom. That's a machine gun. 1, 2, 3, boom. 4, 5, boom. 6, 7, boom. Now we have a semi-automatic firearm. And it doesn't matter if you're using your finger or a bump stock. We've already addressed this numerous times. The ATF has addressed this. If you pull the trigger, it's one function. If you release it, it's a second. If you pull it again, it's a third. Those are each individual functions of the trigger. So what's happened here? As usual, the liberals don't like the answer. So they're going to play with words. There was nobody here to ask, what does single mean? What does one mean? We don't know. Let's discuss it. Let's analyze it. Let's try to figure this out. ATF has previously said you cannot classify bump stocks as machine guns. In 2010, they said this, and for 8 years after, they have said it, and Americans have been buying legally bump stocks ever since. A bill was proposed in Congress after the Las Vegas shooting to ban bump stocks. Why? Because even Dianne Feinstein acknowledged that the ATF did not have the rule-making authority to override the definition of machine gun that was given to us by Congress. The bureaucrats have done an end run around Congress. They have changed the definition of a machine gun. How? Why? Well, because they said, we don't know what one means, and we don't like the prior interpretation. We don't like the answer. We don't like the facts. So we're going to twist the words and we're going to make up. These liberals are saying that the definition in Congress and the ATF's prior interpretation of that definition over the last 8 years, as it pertains to a machine gun and bump stocks, quote, did not reflect the best interpretation of the term machine gun under the Gun Control Act and the National Firearms Act. Translation, they don't like the facts and they want to change the answer. This change is not just about bump stocks. I fear, as many of my colleagues do, that people who don't have a bump stock will easily look the other way. This rule change violates a number of issues and concerns we have in this country with protecting the sanctity of our Constitution. We can't just allow employees to override what Congress has said. We can't just allow the government to take our property without just compensation. And today it may be a bump stock. What is it going to be tomorrow? What did they change? They changed the definition, and what they did is they added into the law an expansion of what includes a machine gun. A machine gun includes bump stock devices, i.e. devices that allow a semi-automatic firearm to shoot more than one shot with a single pull of the trigger by harnessing the recoil energy of the semi-automatic firearm to which it is affixed, so that the trigger resets and continues firing without additional physical manipulation of the trigger by the shooter. And then they added another definition of automatically, because they said, when Congress said automatic, we don't know what that word means. So let's define it. Automatic means shoots, is designed to shoot, or can be readily restored to shoot, means functioning as a result of, and this is important, self-acting or self-regulating mechanisms that allow the firing of multiple rounds through the single function of the trigger. Single function of the trigger, because remember we don't know what that means either, means a single pull of the trigger and analogous motions. This isn't just about bump stocks. This is about your semi-automatic firearms. Even the ATF expert who in 2010, Vasquez, said, and I quote, "If they come out today and say the slide fire stock or the binary trigger by name is made illegal, they're going to have to make illegal the operating principle." We can use fingers, rubber bands, belt loops, all of these things to meet that new definition that I just read to you of what constitutes automatic. Any mechanism that harnesses that energy and causes that firearm to have another function of the trigger is now supposedly a machine gun. There are people who can shoot faster than any slide fire, any bump stock. They can just use their finger and do it if they're using a factory-made semi-automatic firearm. So where are we going with this? It's not just about bump stocks. This is about much more than the Second Amendment. This rulemaking process has violated the sanctity of Congress and its authority to say what our laws are. So we don't want government employees writing the laws. We want Congress passing laws, courts interpreting the laws, and that has been so severely violated in this process. We need to take action and we need to fight it. Another point is that the government cannot take your property without just compensation, but that's exactly what they're trying to do. They are going to tell you, and they have told you now, that after this rule is finalized, you have 90 days to destroy your slide fire or any mechanism that you may have that harnesses that energy and causes your gun to fire more than once. So I don't know if they want people to cut off their fingers. You know, what are we talking about here? What are they going to find in the future that you haven't destroyed that they think justifies charging you with a crime? This is scary stuff, and the government should not be taking your property without paying you. But this definition is so arbitrary and capricious is the legal phrase. It is so general, it is so vague, it covers so much more than what I think most people are thinking it covers. This is beyond bump stocks, folks. This is widespread, it's a problem, and you cannot be the sheep on this one and sit back and watch things happen and just blindly hand over your property to the government. You're going to have to fight. So what to do? Well, on the ATF's website today, they published a little notice of what you can do. And the ATF says owners can destroy the device by either melting, shredding, or crushing it. Or if you're one of those hotshot shooters, I guess you need to cut your finger off. The second option is to turn them in. Don't do it yet, folks, because the lawsuits are coming. They're being filed. Some of them already have been filed. You've got 90 days at least. Wait and see. Hopefully, courts will start issuing some preliminary injunctions because they will see the flaw in the procedures. They will see the government taking issues, and they will see that these employees should not be writing the laws in this country. So I know that it's easy to lose faith, but remember, just recently, we saw California courts even issue a preliminary injunction that prevented the government from taking Californians' high-capacity magazines. So it can happen. Here's what you should do. Number one, don't rush out and destroy your property. Wait and see. You've got 90 days. Number two, remember that the lawsuits are being filed and you can participate. You can either donate to the Gun Owners of America, the No Compromise Gun Organization. Donate in your state to help fight the property takings issue in your state. If you're in Idaho, call my office or email me. We're compiling a list of potential plaintiffs. And you can do the same if you're not in Idaho and you're in another state. Call your firearms rights attorney. Tell them you're willing to participate and donate to the people who are fighting this fight. The bottom line is it is up to we the people to not roll over and hand over our guns. Stand and fight. I'm Alex A.K. Kincaid, and thank you for watching The AK Show. This is Alex A.K. Kincaid, and thank you for watching The AK Show.